What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello fam, coming at you with the plants because we love some good shrubbery, some good greenery. Am I right or am I right? Also rocking a baggy Gymshark zip up per usual. What can I say? I wanted to sit down and have another chat. I've been loving these. I really wanted to go over beginner's guide of how to start eating healthy. A lot of you guys that follow my YouTube channel, hey hello, you know that I eat a whole food, majority plant-based type diet. I have been adding a lot more meat lately. But when I first got into my fitness journey, cutting processed foods out was a freaking game changer. Learning how to properly eat was a game changer. So I figured why not sit down and do kind of a beginner's how-to guide, because I get so many messages being like, Savannah, how the heck do I start eating healthier? Or how do I get these cravings to stop? Girl, I got you. So with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and let's get started. So first things first. First thing that was a game changer was eat a whole foods based diet. And really what that means is more natural types of food. I'm not talking whole foods like the market, okay? I'm talking, because I definitely thought that at first. I'm talking fruits, I'm talking veggies, poultries, unprocessed grains. Basically think of anything that's man-made, anything that's processed in a factory. Think of cereal, think of some pastas, things like that. That's going to be processed. So I totally changed my diet around by eating more whole foods. And what I did with that was make lots of salads, lots of grain bowls, added lots of veggies into my diet, added lots of fruits. This is really when I got into making a Buddha bowl, which basically was a bowl of leafy greens, some meat, some protein in it, and a ton of fruits and veggies and fats like almonds and cashews. So think of anything that is from the ground that's going to be a whole food. So I know it can be complicated, but kind of break it down. Is it natural? Is it not man-made? There you go, there's your answer. And I know it's really hard when you are used to buying processed foods or if you don't have time to cook, but I promise if you're meal prepping and you make that time to purchase veggies, fruits, or something like that and prep them ahead of time, you're gonna feel 10x better. Literally, I would be so bloated with processed foods because there's so much sodium you don't know about. There's so much different chemicals that are added, different ingredients that you aren't sure of. Have you ever looked on the back of chips and you're like, what the heck? It's all these words, I can't even pronounce it. It's not always good for your gut. So changing into a natural diet is a freaking game changer. Next up that I feel like not a lot of people realize, try to be more mindful of what liquids you're consuming, what kind of drinks you're having every day. If you're having coffee with creamer, like I said, probably not always the best that you're constantly having creamer that could have certain ingredients that you aren't aware of, certain chemicals that could upset your stomach or your gut. Even think about soda. A lot of people have soda every day or even bubbly water. Just be aware what's actually in that kind of water. Carbonation doesn't always help your gut. So if you're just being aware of that, I promise you it'll help in the long run with your gut. And also it cuts out unnecessary calories. If I was to be consuming a ton of soda every day, you know how much refined sugar that is? It's an insane amount. And I know a ton of people that have multiple sodas a day. Even me with coffee, I try not to have creamer every day. I try not to have a latte every day. I try to keep it black coffee, maybe a splash of oat milk, and it's taken me a long time to break that habit, but I've gotten there. And I'm not saying don't treat yourself. Definitely every now and then have a soda with dinner or lunch, whatever the heck you want. But if it's an everyday thing, maybe reevaluate it. And you're just drinking unnecessary sugar sometimes. Moving on into trying to be more mindful of your macros. Really your macros is your macronutrients. So we've got protein, fat, and carbohydrates. If you need to add more fats into your meals, try olive oil or almonds or cashews, things that are gonna be natural. Do you see the reoccurring trend of like natural whole foods kinds of food? Think about nuts. They're not man-made and they're not processed. Some may have like an extra sugar coating or something like that. If you just get roasted nuts, you're good to go. Or even certain avocado oil or olive oil, whatever it may be, try and sub like saturated fats, like man-made saturated fats into more natural fats. So that's really helpful as well, especially with your gut. And if you're trying to burn fat in general, these saturated fats are just gonna hinder you. And what I really mean by whole grains, so think of brown rice or popcorn or something like that, opposed to refined grain, which like think of Wonder Bread, white bread, things like that. It's been milled and the bran has been stripped from it, so the benefits benefits of it has really been stripped. And the reason why they do that is because it holds a longer shelf life. So think of white bread compared to whole wheat bread. It's probably able to stay in the stores a lot longer. Even think about like Twinkies. Literally those things can like last like 50 years or something like that, and it blows me away. So be aware what you're putting in your body. If it's toxic like that, it's not good for your gut. Moving into portions. What does a normal portion for you look like? I know when I was first starting out, I had no idea. And it's always, you can literally Google, YouTube, anything. I get so many girls asking me this, and I just truly looked it up online. Maybe looked up my age, my height, my weight, and seen like, hey, what kind of macros should I consume? How much of grain should I consume per meal? Things like that. I know there's like the rule of thumb of like, your fish should be your meat or whatever, but I think just as long as you research it, it'll be so helpful to know what you are consuming, because a lot of the time I like to make a huge salad. Do I actually know how much meat I need in that salad? Not usually. So I could be over consuming and not even realizing it. Plus, if you're someone like me, I must eat like everything on my plate. Like I do not waste food. So if I make a big salad, I'm gonna eat the whole thing even if I'm full. So just be aware of portion control, because it's a huge factor in your fitness goal, because if you are consuming a crazy amount of calories and you have no idea, that could hinder you. Which leads me into kind of one that I have already touched on, and that is, are you getting the appropriate amount of macros? I kind of went over this, but it's proteins, fats, and carbs. So you can literally Google macro calculators. They will help you how many grams of fat you need, how many grams of protein, etc. Things like that, always available online. But if you're someone like me that doesn't like to count macros, look at it as a rule of thumb, maybe track it one day out of the week and see like, hey, how am I actually doing with my macros? Am I consuming too much carbs? Because someone like me, I love carbs, so I rather have pasta, and then I probably would neglect the fats and proteins. So that's also a great rule of thumb. Even when you're making a meal, are you only having pasta, or could you throw in some veggies? Could you throw in some fats? Could you throw in some protein into it? You wanna have a well-balanced type of diet and a well-balanced type of meal. It's always a great rule of thumb, is just know how much macros you should be consuming. You'd also be so freaking shocked at how much fats you may overconsume, or how much carbs you're consuming when you should be consuming a certain amount of protein. It is amazing. If you guys have ever counted macros, please comment down below if you prefer it or if you don't, because I would love to know why, because I personally don't like to do it, but I know a ton of people that find it really helpful. My friends that are the twins, they find counting macros so helpful, where I'm like, oh, it's kind of destructive for me. So I would love to get your opinion. Let me know. This one's gonna hurt, telling you that right now. And that is, throw out your freaking processed snacks, your candy, chips, Kool-Aid, I don't even know, you name it, toss it. And okay, maybe give it away. Maybe give it to a shelter if it's unopened. But I'm saying, don't keep that kind of stuff in your pantry. Don't go buy it. Don't go shopping hungry where you're like, oh, I'm gonna buy these chips. Yeah, every once in a while, treat yourself. If you have family, friends over, if you wanna have a treat, have at it. But I'm just saying, don't have it with you 24/7 every day. My parents got Michael and I a ton of snacks and candy in our stockings this year, and as much as we love it, we're secretly like, dang it, because I eat it every night. I've literally been eating Mike and Ike's, Sour Patch Kids, and chocolate every freaking night, and I'm like, I can't buy that kind of stuff because I don't have the will. I just know I'm gonna consume it because I'm like, chocolate sounds really nice with this movie. I've been on like a hot cocoa kick. That one's also really nice. Just rule of thumb, don't buy them unless it's, you know, a holiday, a treat yourself. If you don't have it every day, it kind of makes it more special when you do buy it. I love when I go visit family or something like that and we splurge and we get some chips and we get some candy. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it, and it makes it so much more special. Which it's also kind of like, don't buy it because it's gonna tempt you. So if you know that's gonna be tempting and you're like, probably will eat an ice cream bar every night, maybe don't buy it. That's always like a great rule of thumb, is treat yourself, but if it's a daily type of grocery shopping and you're trying to be more conscious of eating healthy, I would try to stick to maybe a healthier alternative. Maybe buy some berries instead. I love that. I literally fill our refrigerator with berries and snack on that during the nighttime. Or even popcorn. I love putting M&Ms in popcorn. I still do that, but not every single day. So if I have popcorn every once in a while, I like to do like cashews and maybe like dried cranberries to make it sweet. So try to find a more whole foods type of approach, so I could still have my popcorn and I could still have something sweet that counteracted it, but it was gonna be cranberries and it tastes just as good. Next one, out of sight, out of mind. And that is so, so helpful. If you are going to buy some snacks, if you have a partner that wants those goodies, maybe just keep them in the cupboard. I know there's been like studies shown that if you leave like chips or something laying out, you're more inclined to eat them. I know I am for sure. If I leave candy out, I'm gonna like constantly go back and forth and snack on it. Just keep the door closed in a pantry and then revisit it when you think of it. Like, oh yeah, I would love a handful of gummy bears or something like that. But if you're gonna have it sitting on the counter, promise you, you're just gonna every once in a while just snag it. So out of sight, out of mind. I know that's a really like simple one, but a lot of people kind of glaze over it. Last but not least, guys, the ultimate one is do treat yourself. If you are someone that's like, okay, I'm going on a diet, I'm gonna only eat whole foods starting now, I promise you, you're gonna burn out and you're gonna binge. I used to do that all the time in college. I would be like, okay, I'm only gonna eat baked chickpeas and I'm only going to eat some lettuce. And then day 2 would come around and I would go to McDonald's. So just treat yourself every once in a while. Don't go full blown into healthy mode if you're not used to that. Baby step it. Maybe slowly don't buy the chips, but still keep the candy. And then eventually you get rid of both. Things like that will be so helpful and game changing for you. Then before you even know it, you're not even craving the processed foods. The only reason that you have this like want and addiction is because your body's used to it. Do you ever go on vacation and you have a crazy amount of sugar? Me, all the time. And then you come back and you're like craving that ice cream again. You're craving that sugar. You're literally craving the sugar. And you have to slowly teach it to wean off of it. Sugar is super addicting, so your body's gonna crave that. So just be aware, slowly wean off these kinds of things. Before you know it, you won't even be buying that coffee creamer. Can I get a hoopla? Hoopla! All right, guys, I hope that kind of beginner's guide helps. Please let me know if it was, so I'll continue to do more of these videos. Also, comment down below what else you'd like me to explain, whatever we should talk about. I would love to keep chatting. And with that being said, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will see you next time.